Welcome to the Warband, a World of Warcraft podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Swaglock, and with me today is my co-host, Chicken.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on, Swaggy?
Not too much,
Swaggy
dude.
poo.
I just ate lunch, and I'm feeling pretty full, but pretty good. It's a good day.
It's a good day. Hey, I heard through the grapevine that you may have gotten invincible.
I did. If you listened to last week's episode of the podcast, while recording the podcast, it was mid recording, I got invincible. I was pretty proud of myself. I was working hard, dude. Like, I was nervous though, because it was like the last week, like the last full week of mount farming. I was like, oh no, I'm not getting this. It's not happening. But I did get it.
But you did, man. That's pretty cool. Hey, this is we'll jump into what you've been up to this week. But how many, is that the only mount you ended up getting from that little side event?
Honest answer, yes.
Oh, okay.
I know everyone else has been farming like tons of mounts. Dude, I had one mount in my sights, and I knew I only had so much time, and I was going to put all that time into that mount.
Mission accomplished, though, right?
I know. It was a lot of work, but I feel good. I feel good.
Yeah, the real question is, what did you do this week without that? Like, honestly, you couldn't grind Ice Crown Citadel this week. What did you even do? And wow.
Yeah, if I can't grind Ice Crown, like, what's the point? Like, I don't even know. I actually canceled my subscription. So I canceled my subscription. I quit WoW. I'm playing EverQuest now. That's a reference.
Ew.
That's a reference to Jimmy,
playing
a
Genshin.
World of Warcraft story. If you've ever seen it. But anyways.
I've never seen it.
No. Oh, it is this old YouTube WoW Machinima video. It's called Jimmy, a World of Warcraft story. It's hilarious. I love it. It's so
Machinima.
quotable. It's so quotable. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. I'm getting distracted. So this week I did two things. You're probably not gonna just guess off the top of your head what they are. I did run some dungeons, so I've been doing a little dungeon running.
Can I guess the one?
What?
You did the question mark of the underpin.
No.
Oh, dang.
No, not that exciting. Well, it's exciting to me. But I was doing some like dungeons, just to run them, help some friends out, run keys and stuff for last minute achievements. I've kind of given up on Keystone Legend. I think with getting married, the time I had to take off of gaming before that, and then time I took off of gaming after that, dude, I lost so much momentum that the idea of getting back on the saddle and just trying to slam 12s and 13s, which are, by the way, the hardest keys I've ever done. Like, I've never pushed that high before. And so I was like, as excited as I was at the time, I lost the, like, push. Maybe it was the ADHD. Maybe I just, like, lost my hyper focus on it. I don't know. But I'm not really worried about that. But I was helping some other people work towards KSM and things. Kind of end of season
it's still
stuff.
possible.
I will say, though, helping out people with, like, some KSM stuff, I don't know, man. Dude, groups are kind of weird right now. I mean, if you're running with like all people you know, it's fine.
Crazy.
But I'm getting the weirdest groups. But the two things I actually did this week, the two things I like are noteworthy of doing. One, I was leveling up a character with my wife, so we were playing a little WoW together. That was
kind of cool.
Yeah, that's fun. So that's been good. Just slowly leveling. We're in the Dragon Isles right now. I believe the last time we were on, which was a few days ago, she had just gotten her first dragon riding mount. So she's literally in the middle of the like dragon riding quests, like learning how to fly. That's the first thing. The second thing I did was I've been leveling up my Demon Hunter. It was kind of just stuck at a lower level, and I don't know. I've never really tried tanking on Demon Hunter. I have a little bit, but never very seriously. And man, it's been meta for so long, and then I'm like, okay, I need to learn Demon Hunter now, so that way, when I get good at Demon Hunter, the meta will go back to Blood DK.
And when they release the new spec.
Yeah. Oh, and then they'll put the new spec, which will then make Demon Hunter meta for a while longer.
Yeah, and then you just get to mess around with it. Hey, here's the big question. What did your significant other, your best friend, your wife, choose to play?
She chose a druid, and was leveling up a feral druid. She was leveling up a feral druid, and then kind of gave up on that. A little too difficult. Not difficult, just like kind of confusing. A lot to learn. How to shape shift appropriately at the right times. how to get into combat range well for melee, how to do combo points, all that jazz. So then I suggested playing a hunter instead. So she leveled up a hunter. I think she got the feral druid to like level 16. So not that bad. Like wasn't too bad. But now she's playing a hunter and she's really enjoying the hunter. I think she's actually having fun playing it. Makes a little bit more sense. She gets really excited when she sees new animals that she wants to tame, which is always fun. And being like a kind of a mobile range class, I think is a lot more fun for her than trying to figure out melee range, especially as like she's not necessarily a gamer. Like she doesn't game a lot, so having to learn movement is kind of a little bit of a newer experience. I think a lot of the games maybe she's playing past are more so like side scrollers, and so like learning 3-dimensional movement is taking a little bit of time. Not in a bad way. She's just getting accustomed to it, and so range class I think has been a little bit easier to learn.
Well, that's good. No, that sounds really fun.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I would say, Hunter is probably one of those classes that you definitely want to start out with. Low-key almost said Death Knight, but then I feel like that would be a little too close for comfort to you. What are you leveling with her?
So my thing is whenever I help people get into WoW for the first time, I generally level a tank that has some type of healing ability. So like Bear Druid, Prot Pally, or Brewmaster Monk. This time I went with Brewmaster Monk. The reason why I do that is because it makes it easier. If there's a moment of emergency, I can run in and grab threat. So it makes it a little bit easier. Also, if they take some damage, I can throw some heals out their way. I find that like when I'm helping somebody learn the game, that is like the best spot to live in, kind of that tank. But not like as much as I love DK, right? Like I'm leveling a Demon Hunter right now. And it probably would have been a good idea for me to just start again from 1 on a Demon Hunter and work, or I guess 10 because they're a hero class. Start from 10 and work its way up. But it doesn't offer that same utility to my team, right? And so I'm trying to think, okay, what has like some utility that I'm like, oh, I do Paladin a lot, right? Because you can just like wog someone real fast on Paladin and then they'll be fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, I like it though. I think it's like, what is it, Vivify that you have on Brewmaster Monk? Yeah, that you can just like toss. So I'll do that sometimes. I'll run by and be like, oh no, there's 9. Here you go. Here's a little Vivify, which has been a lot of fun.
Don't die.
Yeah.
I need you to live.
Chicken, what have you been up to in WoW?
Well, to be honest, I haven't played too much WoW this week.
Wow.
And I played a fair amount today.
You think having a baby and a job is a good excuse?
Sorry, guys. Got a baby and a job.
Chicken stacking up his social currency with his wife for when the new season drops. So then
honestly, no, it's not even that. It's stupid things. I can't even play freaking new seasons because every time a new season freaking drops, my work is like, hey, we're gonna send you on travel, and I can't even get to play. So,
that's right. Yeah. You are traveling.
I'm gonna be on business travel the week that season 3 starts. So I'll get to play like the storyline, like the new quest line, like that'll be cool. But then the Sunday before the official start of season 3, the Mythic Plus, the opening raid, that kind of stuff, I will be not at home. Low key though, I'm probably just gonna take my personal laptop and just play a little bit. I'll probably get up at like 3 a.m. that time because I don't adjust to the time in the different time zone. So I basically wake up at like 3 o'clock on the West Coast because I'm so used to getting up at like 6 on the East Coast. So I'll just wake up at like 3 o'clock and then I'll just game for like a couple hours until it's like the normal people time of like 6 o'clock there.
That makes sense.
But yeah, I haven't been doing much. There's one thing that I wanted to get done before the end of the season.
What is that?
Can you guess what it was?
No. Oh, the T-Rex. You want to get the T-Rex? Oh, I forgot to do that.
Wait, what'd you say?
I forgot to get the T-Rex mount from Raid because we kind of just stopped after we got AOTC.
I'm assuming that's going to carry into that renown track's not going away. I'm not worried about that. I'll do it at some point, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's one other thing, and I thought it was pretty obvious, but apparently not. I just said it like 2 seconds ago. I did the the double question mark for the underpin.
Oh, that's awesome! You did that.
Yeah, it took me a couple of tries, but the increased level boost just made it a lot easier. It took me a couple of tries this time around.
What spec did you do it in?
I did it in blood. Like,
Ooh,
there's it was pretty easy. The title's pretty cool, and just the no lie, I'll probably never use the mount ever.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a cool deal, you know.
Yeah, you have it.
So,
you have it. That's nice.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay.
I have it.
Before we go into the topics that we actually are going to talk about today, I want to bring back a conversation we had last week, and a conversation that I'm sure you are not interested in whatsoever, but I think we have a bunch of viewers who would find this fascinating. It was a question we got last week about Sylvanas returning in Midnight. And her showing up, right? It was about like Sylvanas showing up to stop Xal'atath, right? Help her sister out. And I had said at the time, no, I don't think Sylvanas will show up. It just doesn't seem meaningful, right? It doesn't seem meaningful. And I've thought about it more since then. And if you're in our Discord, which you should definitely join our Discord. There's a link in the description on whatever platform you're watching. You know, if you're in our Discord, you saw me talk about this already a little bit. As I thought more about it, I kind of processed. But I was thinking, like, what would a good return for Sylvanas look like? Because Sylvanas was a character who's been around since, like, almost the earliest days of WoW, like, or Warcraft in general. Mm-hmm. Really came to prominence and familiarity. I think it might have been her first appearance. Was in Warcraft 3 when Arthas is, going to Silvermoon. So Silvermoon City is the city of the High Elves, now the Blood Elves. He's going to Silvermoon in order to try and resurrect Kel'Thuzad, right? Who you remember Kel'Thuzad from Shadowlands in the second raid, Sepulchre? No, Sanctum of Domination. He was the Lich boss, the big skeleton Lich boss.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Second to last boss, correct?
Yeah, I don't remember that. Oh, yeah, I do. Actually, sorry.
Yeah, remember one group has to like go down and fight the...
Oh, yeah, that fight sucks.
Yeah. So that's Kel'Thuzad. I think that's the third time we fought him in Warcraft. He was one of the raid bosses, one of the earliest raids. I believe he was a raid boss for Naxxramas. And then when they brought Naxxramas back in Wrath of the Lich King, I think he was still the raid boss there too. I don't quite remember, but I think he was still the raid boss. Anyways, he's dead. He was a necromancer, really powerful necromancer. He had died, and Arthas wanted to resurrect his body. And for some reason, he needed to use the Sunwell, which was the elves' like magical well that they had. Like it was like this font of power. And so he storms Silvermoon, and as he's like going upon the city with his army of undead attacking the city, Sylvanas is the Ranger General of the High Elves. So she's like in charge of basically the High Elves army and protecting the city. She's the one who has to make sure. And so she ends up getting killed by Arthas, and he's so angry with her that he actually raises her from the dead as a banshee. Like just an extra torment to her because she was a pain in his side. Anyways, flash forward, Sylvanas then, when she gains her freedom with a bunch of other undead, she leads them as the Forsaken. She becomes their leader. They adore her. They call her their queen. But then she gets tricked. After Arthas is dead, after Arthas, we kill the Lich King, which I've done 8,000 times this past month in Icecrown Citadel. After Arthas is killed, after Arthas is killed, she doesn't really know what to do with her life anymore, because that was like her whole goal, was like getting revenge on the Lich King. So she throws herself off of Icecrown Citadel to commit suicide. And when she dies, So when she dies, she like gets a vision of what the afterlife is like, which was just the Maw. She just sees the Maw. And she was actually tricked by the jailer. So the jailer tricks her into thinking the Maw is all there really is in the afterlife. That's what everybody's going to go to, even though we know the jailer was just kind of setting everybody there himself. But that's a different story. So she starts working for the jailer, trying to overthrow basically the cycle of death or whatever. And so that's when she kind of goes crazy in BFA and just starts straight up just like killing people for the sake of killing people. That's why she burned down Teldrassil. It wasn't really a strategic war move. She just knew that the jailer needed more souls going to the mall so he could have more power to do something. Again, it doesn't really make sense because she's a brilliant character. So for her to be tricked in such a stupid way, it's not very convincing. But I guess maybe what she saw when she died was very convincing. And also to clarify, when she died, some Valkyrie offered to resurrect her and bring her back. So that's how she came back. And you're like, wait, didn't she die? How's she back? She was resurrected again. So anyways, she eventually goes to the mall, or goes to the Shadowlands, and then when we leave the Shadowlands, she has committed herself to walking the mall and trying to save all the souls that she had condemned to go there, right? So that was like her story. Like right now, she's just going through the mall trying to find all the souls that she sent to the mall that don't actually belong in the mall. They belong in like a different part of the afterlife. And it's her little redemption arc. But I was thinking about it. And the reason why I tell you that whole story is because, and also it's worth noting that the Sylvanas we have now is a mix of half her soul is the Sylvanas we've always known, and half her soul is the Sylvanas pre-death from the Lich King, right? Because the jailer had half of her soul. Because anybody who's killed with the Lich King's sword, Frostmourne, has their soul like fragmented and sent to the Shadowlands. It was a weird little plot point, but anyways, all that to say,
interesting.
When her souls were reunited, she for sure had like a change of heart. Although I think she was already having a change of heart a little bit before that happened, but after it happened, she for sure had a change of heart. But again, backtracking, in Midnight, the upcoming expansion, we are kind of hinted that Elven land up north in the Eastern Kingdoms is going to play a part again, and there's a lot of hints to believe that Silvermoon is going to be pretty heavily involved. Silvermoon is pretty outdated. It's from the Burning Crusade. It hasn't been updated since the Burning Crusade. You can't even fly there. It's walking mounts only. Really? Yeah, it's a beautiful zone, but just very out of date. Very, very out of date. So I would not be surprised if they brought back Silvermoon as a city again for that expansion. It'd be cool if it was like the capital city of that expansion. I think that'd be a nice move from them, especially because like you can see the Void Elves start to kind of return there, and the Blood Elves and the High Elves, right? The High Elves, by the way, renamed themselves Blood Elves. So in case you're wondering, that's why it's the Blood Elf city now. They renamed themselves after Arthas attacked. All this backstory, all this lore. I hope you're following along. But the Sunwell is back in action. The elves were able to get the Sunwell working again using a Naru, so they used light magic to kind of restart the Sunwell. Things have been going good since then. But we know the Sunwell has some aversion to the Void, where when Illyria got too close to it, it started acting like a Void portal, summoning in a bunch of Void creatures. I would not be surprised if Xal'atath or some other force wants to use the Sunwell to summon in the Void, right, into Azeroth. So we see the same kind of thing we saw in the Burning Crusade come back, using the Sunwell as like a place to summon. Because we saw in the Burning Crusade, they tried to summon one of Sargeras' lieutenants. I can't think of his name at the moment, which is a bummer. But anyways, they try to summon him in. It doesn't work. We fight him off. What if, here all that to say, the one way I think I could see Sylvanas coming back. Sorry, all that backstory makes sense. It's important. All that backstory, the one way I see Sylvanas coming back is if we see a Void army, maybe Xal'atath leading it or somebody else, doing the same thing Arthas did, right? Like marching through Silvermoon to like get to the Sunwell and like summon in the Void. And that would be the moment where, like, let's say you have the Horde, you have the Alliance, they're ready to work together. They're ready to defend the forests, right? I can't remember what the name of the forests are, but the forests around Silvermoon, they're ready to defend, hold off this army. They have the soldiers, but like nobody knows the land well enough. Like let's just say like the Ranger General currently just isn't available for whatever reason. They don't have somebody to lead. And all of a sudden, Sylvanas shows up. Okay. And she's like, I can do it. That to me would be like the one redemptive moment for her. Because as a player, you would look at her and be like, yeah, she actually is the best person to do this. There's no one better to do this than Sylvanas, or whoever the actual Ranger General right now is. And that's why, like, again, I wasn't a big fan of just Sylvanas showing up just to fight off Xal'atath, because that didn't make sense. It was like, well, you could have had literally anybody else do that. Why? Like, I know she's Illyria's sister, but it didn't feel meaningful enough. But to have Sylvanas show up and play her old role and like do the thing that she was most known for being successful at. And maybe this time actually succeeding at it rather than failing at it, right? Like she failed with the Lich King. Maybe this time they actually succeed and they do push off the void and they do stop him. That would be cool. That would be like, wow. I even put it a step further. Some of the Discord members didn't like this. I actually think she should show up with Nathanos, who was I don't know if you remember him from BFA. If you ever did any of that content, people really disliked Nathanos, but I could see her doing it with Nathanos because again, he was a ranger, the only human ranger that was under Sylvanas when she was Ranger General. He also knows those woods. He would be a genuinely useful and good ally to have in that time. He's kind of a jerk and kind of really annoying, but it would be a good redemptive moment for him too, just to be like, yeah, these two people showed up. They know this. Like, this is their land. They have defended this plenty. They've been trained to defend this, and now they can lead these armies to properly defend these woods. That to me would be like really cool. That to me would be like, okay, you know what? If you're going to redeem these characters, that's a good way to redeem these characters. And I have to say it because more people listen to the podcast than read our Discord chats. And I just want to make sure that like when Blizzard takes my idea, people know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it boils down to here.
Absolutely. I hope that all made sense to you. I hope you didn't have to zone out.
That's oh my gosh.
Yeah. Dude, also I've been listening to the Storm Rage book, which is a great book by the way. If anybody wants a good read, Storm Rage is a really good read. But I've been listening to it on Spotify, and I didn't realize Spotify had like a limited amount of audiobook hours you can listen to every month, unless you like pay to have more.
Yeah.
And so today it was like, you're out of hours for the month. I was like, what the heck? And so I was about to be upset. Yeah, I was about to be upset. And then I looked at it and it was like, it renews tomorrow. I was like, okay, never mind. I'll just wait till tomorrow so I can finish this book. I'll just wait till tomorrow so I can finish the book. I'm literally like 2 chapters left. I've got like 2 chapters left.
Dude, that was a long-winded
but it was good. It was good, dude. Lore's nice.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
We're gonna put out a t-shirt. We're gonna put out some Warband merch. It's just gonna say "Lord's nice" on it.
Lord's nice.
Lord's nice. Do it.
Lord's nice. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's that would be a cool storyline. I mean, I followed it a little bit. But yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, it's always.
You're like at the end of the day, you're like, wait, isn't this the boss from Sepulchre? Or Sanctum of Domination?
Isn't that the boss from Sanctum? Yeah, I know I like any boss that you don't kill, I'm like, okay, this boss has like a rich backstory. Like this come on.
Dude, I was listening to you're gonna find this interesting. I was listening to there's like an audio series that they did for YouTube. It was like a few weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago or something.
Okay.
That they did talking about the background of like the Ethereals and actually how they became Ethereals and what really happened to the planet of Koresh. Because obviously the lore of Koresh has been around since the Burning Crusade, so like 18 years it's been around. But this actually like finally went into it in detail with like an audiobook. Beautiful, super well done. I loved it. In that book though, they talk about what's her name?
No idea.
The princess from the first raid this expansion. You know the ethereal one that we have to fight.
The one that you don't actually kill.
Yeah, when we don't have to kill. I can't remember her name right now, but she's in it. I remember being like, oh my. Yeah,
well, she's the new like Ray or the new Delves boss for season 3. You knew that, right?
What?
Yeah, that I'm looking it up right now. The Nexus Princess.
Yeah.
She is the new Delves boss for season 3. You didn't know that? Let me just confirm, but like I'm pretty like certain that she is the new Delves boss.
Is her name, by the way. I was trying to remember her name.
Yes.
Kaivez. Yeah, so here's the thing.
I'm like
I don't always keep up with Delves.
Yeah,
dude, I mean, to do Delves for the belt. I had to do Delves for the belt, bro. I've just been running them all on level 1.
Oh,
Yeah, I did the first one on like a 10.
Oh, you did tell me that. Yeah,
I did the
that's
first one on
kind
like a 10. I was like, why am I doing this?
dude. That's kind of cappy though. Come on.
Well, I mean, it
Come
was so much
on.
faster, bro. I literally just ran in there. So much faster.
Yeah, but you don't want to get those crests. You don't want to get those crest boy, those big boy crests.
Nah, too much time. I can get crests faster just doing M+.
I mean, that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I did look it up. Yeah, Kai'Vezza returned as the season's nemesis for season 3. So that's kind of neat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, hey,
right.
Speaking of season 3, we got some big news this week. Obviously, it's a week before. It's literally, as you're listening to this, the day before the patch drops. So, I think the biggest. I tried to narrow it down to 3 or 4 big changes.
Mm-hmm.
I think this kind of captures a little bit. I know there's a couple other changes, but hopefully, you guys keep up with Owlhead and keep an eye on that. The first one, a big Mythic Plus change, 10% health increase to everything, and that's to me is a little preemptive.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of get, here's my thing. I don't like changes like this because, and this is a general statement, right? I feel a lot of people that are playing the PTR are people that are doing it for content, which means they're most likely, better at the game than the majority of people. That's just a general statement. Or the people that are better at the game and just want to play something different because they've been grinding season 2 for the last 6 months. So when I see a change like that, it kind of worries me as like, hey, are we gearing it too high based on the fact that maybe there's a lot of higher skill players doing the content, or is there just truly just like the numbers were absurd that like damage was just like crazy?
Absolutely. It's hard to tell. On the bright side, Mythic Plus content is like infinitely scaling content, so I don't want to say it doesn't matter, right? I'm not saying it doesn't matter because obviously we all have goals, and 10% can make a goal not possible, right? Like 10% can be like, oh crap, I won a KSL and now I'm never getting KSL. So I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter, but in infinitely scaling content, it does maybe nerf how important that is, because everybody will still, regardless of the 10% health increase, have some tier of content that feels challenging to them. But I do wonder about the health increase. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a huge deal, but at the same time, it's like, I'm
glad it wasn't like damage, though. That's what scares me when they do like random like damage increases.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there, to be honest, there's a lot of other changes to actually Halls of Atonement and Taz of Esh.
Yeah.
If you're interested in it, find the Wowhead article. It'll go through all those. Obviously, you can't go through all those. Obviously, another big update. There's a lot of class changes. I'll have to see if I have the article still up. But they're talking about the changes to DKs, and I still have it up. And it kind of like, okay, it made me a little upset. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, good. It should make you upset.
They were talking about the fact that what's it called is going away.
A-bomb limb, yeah.
A-bomb limb, and they're noting it in a way that kind of made me feel a little bit better, but at the same time, it kind of made me also feel almost worse. So I'll read it to you.
Okay.
It says, one immediate change you may notice is that A-bomb limb has been removed. Its existence made it incredibly hard for grip to matter as any real capacity because of how potent and easily accessible it became. This led to many raid mobs being immune to grip as well to counter what should normally be one of Death Knight's more powerful tools. This change limits the number of death grips available to a raid at any moment and allows us to design more moments for death grip to be tactical and powerful when Death Knights choose to use it. This change should immediately be apparent in the new raid.
Yeah, so I did read that when they first made that post. I don't know. I think it actually it bothers me more than if they didn't give a reason.
Oh yeah, no, because at first I'm like, okay, like this kind of makes sense. Like it's like, okay, you're kind of trying to make Death Grip a little stronger, and like that makes sense. But then at the end of the day, I'm like, wait, A Bomb Limb was a 2-minute cooldown. Like, is it really that big of a?
So I can explain. And this is why I wish they hadn't given a reason. I actually really wish they just were like, oh, we got rid of A-Bomb Limb because it's dumb, right? Like, it's not dumb. I love A-Bomb Limb. A-Bomb Limb is one of my favorite buttons in the whole game. They're getting rid of one of my favorite buttons.
Dude,
I just want to make a full statement. With that said, it's not like the problem is they're getting rid of A-Bomb Limb because of how it affects rating. It's not an M+ question. A-Bomb Limb and M+ is a wonderful ability that, like, I think actually adds a lot of uniqueness, right, to the class, especially for tanks, right? It makes blood DKs feel a lot more viable tanking wise. Gives them kind of a really cool utility. That's awesome. But again, only usable every 2 minutes, which means you have to be strategic with it. You're not just spamming it on end. You're trying to decide how to use it. Do you use it as utility? Do you use it as damage? Right, because it kind of does both very well. So which one do you pick? Right. So getting rid of A-Bomb Limb, I think, makes Blood DK even worse. And Blood DK was already bad for M+, even worse as an M+ tank, which has me very disappointed. Now, when it comes to rating, what I think the reason is because they're trying to design fights where one phase of the fight, or maybe 2 phases of the fight, will have some ads show up, and it's convenient to death grip those ads in rather than trying to run around and like get them individually. Yeah. And I think that bothers me because, one, they're basically saying, hey, we don't know how to design a fight otherwise, so you're losing this ability. It hurts, I don't know, it hurts M+ so much and barely benefits raid. Hurts M+.
Nah, it doesn't.
I also think it's dumb for them to be like looking at raid fights and being like, oh, we gotta design a new raid. One of these bosses has to have mobs that get death gripped in. That's part of the thing. I don't know, man.
That sounds gimmicky,
it feels
right?
Dumb. It feels gimmicky when we talk about like raid buffs, right? And because again, they're trying to prove the point, like, oh, death grip is a raid buff. Death grip is a raid buff. That's the thing, is a raid buff. But then they I don't know, man. Death grip is a utility. It's 100% a utility. It's not a raid buff. It's a utility. It's just like a life grip, just like any speed boost ability, especially group wide speed boosts that you have. Right, they're utilities and they're awesome. But we're not looking. To me, it's just like, I don't know. It feels hyper specific. And not like, it just feels like it limits how they design fights. And so they're designing these fights going like, oh, hey, we know we're going to spawn these guys out here because your Death Knight has to grip him in. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that's what they want. Maybe I should be fine with it. Even as I'm saying it, maybe I'm like, oh, that might not be that bad. But it does feel a little weird that like, I know at Blizzard HQ, their raid designers are sitting there like, oh, have we made a boss that needs Death Grip? We haven't made one.
Yeah, right.
One doesn't. Can we maybe on the intermission of this boss? Could we put like 2 ads on the intermission of this boss? The one thing I will give them credit for is I believe, and X brought this to my attention. Not X, the Everything app, but X, our Discord mod brought it to my attention. I do believe they changed the cooldowns for Death Grip so that it's the same for both Blood and Frost and Unholy. Because I know for a while Blood had shorter cooldowns on Death Grip.
Yes.
And so it didn't even make sense to pull any other tank, any other DK, because Blood had better Death Grips. With that said, Blood does still have Gorfiend's Grasp, which is nice. Not quite, but I want to clarify, Gorfiend's Grasp is not on Slappy Hands territory or Abomination Limb territory. Gorfiend's Grasp is like, oh, hey, we hit it, and everybody just happened to be in range, and it worked out. Slappy Hands is like, yo, I'm pulling everybody in. If somebody's a little too far away, I'll just kind of walk towards them while I have the ability, and I'll pull them.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness, dude. Not like, you can't even compare the two, like, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't know, man. The whole thing, to me, it's lame. I feel like they could have done a better way to do it. By the way, though, I think I'm trying to find a way to phrase this. I think if Blizzard had thought it through more, I think they knew players were not going to like this, but I think they just kind of were like, players won't like it, but they'll get used to it. Like, they'll adjust, they'll change, they'll adapt. However, I think if Blizzard had really sat down in some meetings and were like, hey, we got to get rid of this. What can we do to keep players happy? If they had made Blood DK awesome for M+ this upcoming season, nobody would bat an eye.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Yeah.
Literally nobody would care. If Blood DK was like a banging tank this season, nobody would care. In fact, A-Bomb Lim would be that like legend people talked about, but like it was whatever. Like literally people were like, yo, remember when, like, it would be this season, people were like, oh, remember when DK had A-Bomb Lim? That was cool. And that'd be it, right? What's gonna happen though this season is Blood DK already feels bad. Even with A-Bomb Lim, Blood DK would feel bad. And so now you have a bad feeling tank, and you're saying, yo, we're getting rid of your best utility ability that you have on your toolbar besides Dancing Rune Weapon. We're getting rid of this. Have fun.
Basically.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
have fun.
Right now players aren't going to be happy. They're going to be upset. They already felt nerfed, and now they're going to feel like just taken advantage. Like, they're going to feel beaten. They're going to be like, dude, Blizzard
100%.
Blizzard doesn't care
100%.
at all. I will also say, I am playing a Shaman. I'm playing Resto Shaman this upcoming season as a healer. I still want to have a tank on the side. Normally, that would be Blood. Like, normally, I wouldn't think twice. I'd be like, oh, I'll just put my Blood DK on the side. I'm genuinely thinking just playing Brewmaster. Brewmaster's looking solid. It's like it's a spec I like playing. I enjoy playing Brew. I'm not quite as good at it as Blood, but I'm okay.
Here we go. Yeah.
I'm okay at it. You know,
still something.
Right? The thing is, though, is like, I didn't pick Resto because of the Blood DK changes. Blood DK was like not looking great for next season. But at that point, I was like, whatevs. My raid leaders asked me to heal. I'll heal. It'll be fun to do something different for one season.
Yeah.
But then, like, I think it was like 2 days after he asked me, they announced the A-Bomb removal, and I was like, yeah, I have no interest now. I have no interest in, like, touching my DK. I mean, my DK that's been my favorite, so I'm hoping. I don't know, man. I think Blizzard made a mistake.
It's hard.
I think in a moment like this, Blizzard should have done everything they can to be like, yo, Blood DK needs to feel awesome. It doesn't have to be the best tank. I think it should for this season because of how much they've like kind of taken from it, but at least like top two tanks, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Easily.
Yeah. I mean, that is if Blizzard even knows how to balance tanks without Vengeance Demon Hunters on top.
Probably not. Let's be honest, dude.
Listen, man. There's always like that swing of like this class is good and then this class is good because Blizzard has said it before. And if anybody's wondering, they're like, oh, why can't Blizzard perfectly balance the game? One, they get pretty dang close to perfectly balancing the game. The game is like 98% balanced. It's actually like crazy. It's like actually crazy compared to any other game similar to WoW, how balanced WoW is.
Yeah, WoW is pretty balanced.
Especially for having, was it 36 specs or something? In
36, wow.
Roughly, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Roughly 36 specs, plus every spec now having like 2 hero talent options.
Yeah.
Blizzard has
That's a lot, dude.
And it's tree-based, right? Like, it's not just like the old... Like, it's not the Mists of Pandaria one we had in Shadowlands, where it was like, oh, hey, pick 3 options at this level, then pick one of 3 options at this level. It's like actually like a talent tree-based thing, and so they have it exceptionally balanced. Mm-hmm. All the credit to Blizzard. With that said, though, sometimes utility can really make or break it, or survivability can really make or break it, more than the damage itself. And I do think Vengeance Demon Hunter is in one of those cases right now where the damage is good, it's not bad, and the utility is absolutely phenomenal, and the survivability is absolutely phenomenal. And for some reason, there's always that swing. Like, Blizzard's clear, like, hey, we do a pendulum swing. Like, we know we can't perfectly balance everything all at once, so we're going to swing this pendulum of like, oh, hey, this is balanced today, and this one feels awesome, and then we swung the pendulum again. Now this one feels awesome, kind of encouraging people to play different classes. And we saw that a lot in the past. Like, I know Death Knight did have a little bit of a swing of like some really well seasons where it was pretty solid in like Shadowlands.
Yeah.
But man, to me it feels like Demon Hunter was great every season of, I believe it was like every season of Dragonflight.
Yeah,
and it's
it
been
was.
great every season of The War Within. And part of me is just kind of like, at this point, does Blizzard know
Like,
how?
come on.
I'm sure they do, but does Blizzard know how to put like Demon Hunter in a spot where it doesn't feel like this? And I think part of it is less about
They do
Demon
not.
Hunter being as goated as much as it is like the utility that Demon Hunter offers for M+. It offers this really good utility, which again is another reason why I look at the removal of A-Bomb Limb and I'm like, oh my gosh, now what? Like, how does DK ever catch up to Demon Hunter if you're going to get rid of any utility that has? I mean, I'm sure, again, though, all it takes is some tuning changes and all of a sudden DK just doesn't die ever, and then now it's the best tank because you can just do huge pulls, right? So,
Yeah.
the best utility is always the tank that's wanted, right? Like, it's funny because in my mind I read it, I'm like, oh, Demon Hunter will always be top because their utility is so unique and desirable. But the reality is it's more than just the utility, right? It's just all around good right now. And any tank can fill that role. And once they're in that role, then you're like, oh, like for example, like Pally, right? Like Prot Pally and they're like Divine Toll. And you're like, oh, Divine Toll is too powerful. It'll never not be top. But then this season upcoming, it's looking like what, Warrior and Demon Hunter? So like, not really, right? Like A-Bomb Limb, A-Bomb Limb's gone, but A-Bomb Limb looks goated, right? But then, the survivability and hierarchies for DK just isn't great. So, despite having some cool utility like that, it just goes out the window. But anyways, I'm ranting for a while about class changes. What else is going on? Please tell me it's not more bad news for tanks.
No. Oh, well, a little bit, but not anything crazy. They did some cloak adjustments. It looks like they increased some stuff for damage and healers, and then just nerfed a tiny little bit for tanks, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, of course, more tank nerfs.
I think one of the bigger things for 11.2 that has come out, and it actually came through a interview that they had with one of the lead quest designers and one of the senior game producers. It doesn't say who did the interview. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting. But I'm sure you can pull it up. Well, what just happened to it? I just lost it. Interesting. But they were talking about a couple things. They were talking about obviously like the Demon Hunter fight in the raid. It was all geared around raid. And the two things that I pulled from it was the Demon Hunter fight being mandatory if you want to get Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
which
I see that.
Is kind of like, okay, like that's not bad. Oh, it was they were talking about it on the bench.
I'm guessing that applies too for World First.
What'd you say?
I'm guessing that applies as well for World First.
I would assume, yeah.
Okay.
I would assume. And if it doesn't, then that's kind of interesting. But they were talking about that, and it was funny. This guy George Veliv, maybe that's how you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
They were talking about like, oh, like the third Demon Hunter is like a little voidy. Like, what does that mean? And he was like, well, yeah, we wanted to base him on like the raid. And I'm like, you didn't say that there isn't a third Demon Hunter spec, which most likely means that there is.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, like I shouldn't say this, but I think if there wasn't going to be a third Demon Hunter spec, he would have just been like, the plan is to not add a third Demon Hunter spec, like blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it would have been at this time like, hey, we're not planning on adding a third spec, but it's a cool idea.
Yeah, but basically he was just like, oh yeah, we wanted to kind of make it look like Void themey because, that's the raid. And they basically, okay, whatever. Okay.
I think what's interesting too, I'm reading some of it, right? Like, one, why would there be Demon Hunters in this raid to begin with? Unless it plays into maybe Midnight a little bit somehow. Now we do know, and to give credit where credit's due, so I will mention, after Legion, when Sargeras was trapped, a lot, if not most, of the Demon Hunters went off planet to go hunt demons. So they literally just like went out into space to go hunt demons. So it's not like the craziest idea, like, oh hey, we landed on Koresh and we ran into some demon hunters. With that said, if that was the case, then we would just fight some demon hunters on Koresh. The fact that there's a void demon hunter, though,
yeah, it's kind of fishy.
That's a little something, right? And it tells me there's more to the story, right? Because we know how demon hunters are made, we know how demon hunters work, how they operate.
Yeah.
So the fact that there's a void one means that there's a whole can of lore behind this character that like needs to be unpacked. And ultimately, that can of lore can't lead to anything else but either a new demon hunter spec or a new way for demon hunters to be created for other class or other races to be a demon hunter, right? So, no matter what, this has to lead somewhere. Like if this is just a dead end, it will be the weirdest dead end. It'll be the weirdest dead end. That would
be a little weird, to be honest.
Because this guy's existence, like, because I think two of them are I think females, right? And this one's the male is the void one, right? This guy's existence, just like screams like, hey, there's more. There's more lore behind this. There's more story behind this and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of weird, and you know George does kind of like, oh, you know, we have nothing to announce, blah blah blah. But like, I honestly feel like if this was like, hey, like this isn't coming, they would just be like, hey, this isn't coming.
They did, by the way, talk about what it meant to be like optional. Sorry, I'm reading the interview now. And it's fascinating because, they said, oh, this is an optional boss, this is an optional boss. And then you're now saying, well, it's required for, like, Cutting Edge or Hall of Fame, right? Required for Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Hall of Fame, yeah.
And I think what's interesting is when he comes back and talks about it, he's like, hey, we need to clarify what we mean by, like, optional. And he basically said, while you can bypass this encounter, right, like, it's not really an optional boss. It drops loot, so you want to kill it. It is a boss. It's not like a secret boss. Basically, they're saying that this boss doesn't drop... oh, no, it does drop tier tokens. So it drops shoulder tier tokens. So most players will still want to go after this boss. Like, he drops loot that you want. You just theoretically could go, oh, we don't really care for that loot. We're going to go around it.
Yeah.
It's just in a spot that you don't have. Which, by the way, I don't have a problem with. I have no problem being like, yeah, like, if you want to walk past a boss, you can walk past the boss, right? Like, don't, you know, if you're not going to walk in this room. That to me is not the end of the world. That to me kind of builds out, like, a little bit more of what's going on.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's kind of like one of those things of like, if it gives good loot, you almost like, unless it's just like insanely difficult, then it's like, okay, maybe not, but my guess is it's not going to be like terrible.
Makes sense.
I don't know. Hey, one other thing out of that article, and I just want your quick opinion on it because we do got a fair amount of other things to talk about.
Yeah.
They talked about a renown track for the next raid, which I kind of figured that was a given based on the success from Liberation. They talked about one of the, I don't know if you want to call them achievements, but one of the rewards, that's the right word, from the renown track is basically like limiting the mobs between encounters. So basically how I've read it as, it basically turns them into like, just like, I don't know, like slapsticks where you can just kind of go up and just like one button, just like kill them.
Nice.
I don't know if it's that easy. It's not like running like Ice Crown Citadel where you can just like go in and just like blood boil and it like kills like everything in existence. So I'm kind of curious to see that roll out. But like, is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Like I think it's a good thing. But like what is, you know, it's kind of like one of those things of like, does it feel good or is it just kind of like I don't know. Does it make sense what I'm trying to say?
Oh, absolutely. I think I kind of like the idea. And not that I'm like, oh, hey, we need to bypass stuff. I think it probably affects maybe raiders on higher levels, right? Like Mythic.
Yeah.
We've also all raided enough to know that like when you're raiding and you kill a boss and you start heading to the next boss, there's like a solid 1/3, maybe a half of your group, maybe more. It depends on your guild. It really depends on your guild or your raid team. But there's a large chunk of people that, upwards of 2/3 of your group that just AFK and wait till everybody else clears it, and then they run up and catch up during the next introduction to the boss, or like going through
exactly
mechanics or something. That is annoying, especially like later on. Especially later on, that is really, really, really frustrating to deal with, because it's just kind of a pain. It's like, hey guys, we're going slow because everyone else is like getting up and grabbing, like pouring themselves a soda, and I'm sitting here having to do the work. But also I like understand it too. Like, it's not like M+, like you're not really being rewarded for killing that stuff. Sometimes like some mobs will have cool loot, but I'm assuming that the BOE mobs are not the ones that they're getting rid of. If they're probably not getting rid of BOE mobs. I actually think it'd be cool if they maybe oversaturated trash with this in mind. And then like you get to a point where there's like less trash than you would normally have in a raid, but you start with like more trash than you would normally have in a raid, and kind of like wind it down. That would be cool. But I think it's nice because, again, remember this, we're not talking about the open. We're talking about like, this is like mid-season when like everybody who's really wanted to finish the raid has finished the raid, at least at like AOTC.
Yeah.
They're re-clearing at that point. Might as well just make re-clearing a little bit easier of a process.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I mean,
because nobody's struggling on that.
Probably.
Yeah, nobody's struggling on the trash at that point. So, and again, they have to come up with like new rewards constantly, right? They're constantly coming up with like new rewards for the renowned track, and they can't use the same rewards that they used for last renowned track. They can recycle them in the future, but they probably don't want to just be like, all right, new renowned track, exactly the same.
Yeah, it's like basically just like a reskin of mounts, and just like basically exactly the same.
Yeah, I heard we're getting a Void Robot Dragon or Void Robot Dinosaur this time.
Basically, yeah.
No, I made that up. I have no clue what the mount is. I just made that up. I did hear people talk about how they thought having a mount at the end of the renowned track was dumb, and that it should have been something that was beneficial to the raid. I disagree with that. I like having the mount on the renowned track. To me, it felt like... I'm trying to find a way to phrase it. To me, it felt like there was a reward at the end of the renowned track that I could take with me outside of the raid.
Yeah.
And I like that.
It made like made the renowned track actually like kind of worth it, instead of it just being like annoyingly stupid to do, basically.
Yeah. If my time wasn't as limited this season as it has been, I would have been like hard farming to keep up with my renown. It's been more limited, and our guild wasn't raiding, so like it kind of wasn't a high priority. Yeah. I mean, they were raiding, but it wasn't once we got AOTC, we kind of hard slowed down.
It was kind of just like kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
Hey, that seems like it's all the 11.2 updates that I wanted to cover. There's a couple other things that I wanted to cover, and then we'll get into some viewer questions.
Perfect.
Hey, the biggest one, I think, and this is something that I'm super hyped about because I think it adds depth to the game itself.
Yeah.
And when I say depth to the game itself, I mean as a standalone game.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the cooldown manager updates. I don't know if you read this article, but
I did see they were updated, but I haven't looked at what the updates were.
So it's pretty crazy. Like the amount of customization they're adding to it is basically, hey, you can choose which cooldowns you want to monitor. You can put sound effects on them. You can place them differently on the screen. There's like so much more depth that they're adding to it, and like even the ability to like track debuffs on targets. Just oh my goodness, like the depth that they're adding to this is insane. Yeah. Like it's basically like I don't know what add-on people use to track like cooldowns and stuff, but it's basically, I would put this on par with any add-on that people would use. Like I honestly personally think that people might switch to this.
Yeah, I mean, if there's an easier tool that does everything I want it to do, I would rather not use add-ons, right? Like I would rather just have that built into the game. And even seeing like the UIs and stuff that people are building using it, they look very clean. They look good. Yeah. That's one thing that always frustrates me with add-ons, dude. Add-ons never like look good. They never look good.
Nah, they don't.
And I want my game to still feel like a game that looks good, right? Like, I don't know, man. The world is beautiful. I want my UI to be beautiful.
You want your UI to be beautiful. Hey, I don't blame you. I mean, I completely understand.
I might have to test it out. I might have to try it out when the patch launches, because I don't know, man. I right now use WeCore as a setup, but if I could have something in game that was just like a little bit more straightforward, I would much rather do that.
Yeah, see, the one thing that they didn't mention in that article is when that update is going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be 11.2. I mean, I'm assuming it is, but if it's not, I guess I'm not going to be like super surprised.
Yeah.
Again, it's kind of one of those things where we might just have to kind of wait a little bit, but that's okay. Like, people are still using what they're using, and it's kind of working.
Makes sense.
So,
Makes sense.
not a huge deal. Hey, on the other aspect, one button rotation, our favorite podcast topic, actually got positive feedback, which I'm not super surprised about, but I'm a little bit shocked in two ways. One, that people aren't really maybe questioning as much of the damage that it's doing. It seems like people are pretty happy with where it's at. And the second thing I'm kind of like really shocked about is people are complaining about the same thing that you did, my friend.
What's
button
that?
fatigue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was actually one of so there's three big points that they kind of came out with. The first one was, overwhelmingly positive feedback. Everyone seems to find it valuable. Nothing crazy about like anything, and that's to be expected, right? People that are going to use it are going to use it. People that don't want to use it don't really care, right? So, I mean, you're going to get pretty decent feedback. The second thing they brought up was...
I think there's a utility in the game. I think there's a built-in utility in the game. Don't quote me on this, because I might be hallucinating hard. But I think there's like a way in the game to set it where if you press a button, it'll just keep pressing the button for you as long as you're holding it down. Yeah. So you could theoretically activate that with one button rotation. But also, I don't know if I buy it, the overwhelming positive feedback. I don't know if he's telling the truth.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not sure if I buy it. Part of it to me feels like a game developer who wants to make sure that people know his product is awesome. And so he's just talking about it. But and listen, I like Morgan Day, dude. I actually really like Morgan Day. Great dude. Seems super nice. I love listening to talk about WoW. With that said, there are things with the one button rotation that are questionable, right? Like, we know that in measuring damage output on the one button rotation, you're getting like, and even the article talks about it too, right? You're getting -2 to -30% to your damage, which -30% feels okay. -2 though, if you're taking a 2% damage loss, that's compared to an optimal perfect rotation, that's still better than most players. And so I don't think they've actually found the right spot for one button to live, where it's doing enough damage to be valuable and a useful tool to people who need it, but not just making gameplay obsolete altogether, right? Mm-hmm. That to me, I don't know if they found the line yet for it. And I feel like saying, oh yeah, we've had overwhelmingly positive feedback. Of course you've had overwhelmingly positive feedback, right? Like,
that's fair,
right? Like, of course you've had, because for the people who are utilizing it, it's like hugely powerful. But that doesn't mean that like it's a good thing, right? Like, positive feedback doesn't mean it's a positive utility. Now, I'm not saying I think one button should go. I actually think one button is really helpful and really necessary, especially with an aging player base for WoW. There's and medical reasons as well. I think it's absolutely useful. But to me, it's like, yeah, I never thought they would say anything other than that they got overwhelming possible feedback. And maybe it's because of the worlds you and I live in, where I hear it all the time from players like, yeah, I'm using one button rotation, super powerful, super awesome. I'm like, oh, that's great. But man, it feels like it's still just a touch too powerful, right? Like, it just feels a touch too powerful. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. But again, when I'm seeing that like it's within 2% of a perfect
that's
rotation for some specs, that's weird.
kind of
yeah. And
that's a big deal.
And when we're talking like 30% for like a perfect spec, right? Some of those questions start to get questionable. But again, it depends on what that means, right? Like 30%, well, maybe that really isn't qualifying anybody under AOTC level. Maybe it's not qualifying anybody under cutting edge level. I don't know. I'm not really sure what that means. I don't really know what that means.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a big deal. If that qualifies all player base, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, it's, the third thing that they did talk about in this article was that they have no plans to change anything at the moment. They keep monitoring data on performance, and they feel like in their words, it's currently meeting our intentions for the feature. Sorry.
Yeah.
And they're just gonna basically ensure that like the tool is still like updated basically, and that it's not just like giving like random spells and random rotations from like Shadowlands in like 3 years, right? 3 years from now. So that makes sense. But yeah, it is kind of a hard pill to swallow, because they are basically saying, hey, it is working how we want it to work, even though it's, allowing people to play, beyond their skill set. And, if that's what it is at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? It's not much we can do about it.
Yeah. Dude, I'm looking at super change the topic. I'm looking at the Headless Horseman stuff they're adding in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm guessing it's for like, I see it's marked for the trading post, but I'm guessing some will be trading post, maybe. Some will be probably event related to Hallow's End.
Yeah, I'm assuming, yes.
But bro, I just gotta say, dude, Blizzard was cooking. These look good.
Yeah, they look really good. Yeah.
Like, as somebody who has like the OG Headless Horseman horse, dude, I like these, man. Like, if I got the new stuff, I'd probably ride that instead of my old one. Like, this looks good.
Yeah, it does look really good, dude. I'm actually kind of shocked with how good it looks.
I like the color variants. Yeah, dude. That's surprising. Of course, I love reading comments on Wowhead because they're just so all over the place, right? Someone said, please... wait, not that one. Where's the one I just saw? Oh, looks great. Thank you, Blizzard. Let us buy tendies, though. Dude, I never really thought about buying tendies, but I'm sure there are a lot of players out there.
I thought you could now.
No. Sometimes they'll include them in a bundle, but it's not a lot. It's like a one-time purchase type thing.
Yeah.
Right, but you can't just straight up buy them.
Interesting.
To me, I'm like, no, please never, because that I think people miss the point of the trading post, which is like, hey, we're offering you some stuff. You can't buy it all. You can't have all of it. So be intentional, right? Like, be careful with what you pick. And I watch like people I know just go in, and like the moment they have any tendies in their pocket, they don't like. It doesn't even matter if the item's good or not. They're just like, I gotta spend them. I gotta spend the tendies on stuff. And I'm sitting over here with like 7,000 tendies sitting in my bag. I'm like, I'm just waiting until there's something really cool shows up, which might be the Headless Horseman stuff.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, tendies in my mind were always like, it's kind of cool, but I wonder if that's kind of the reason why they've been releasing like, not like duplicating, but they kind of release like on a schedule, like, hey, we're gonna release this again in like 6 months.
Yeah.
Just so you have the option to buy it again.
Yeah. And it should feel that way. It should feel like, hey, look, this will come back. It's not gone forever. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, it's not gone forever.
But it's okay to have systems in the game where you have to make a choice and commit to that choice. I don't know, man. It's okay to not always have everything. That kind of makes choices more meaningful, more valuable. To be like, no, I'm choosing this. Like, I put time, I put thought into it. I'm like committing to this choice.
Hey, you know what else is okay?
What?
Watching Twitch for drops, baby.
That's true. They
got another drop coming out on the 5th.
Heck yeah, man. Just in time for the new
the
new
5th.
Season?
Yes.
The new season.
Yeah, whenever the new season drops, there's another Twitch drop for like a pet. Yeah. It's neat. It's a cool little pet,
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'll be streaming on Twitch sometime this week. The original plan was the 5th. However, it looks like it might be my dad's birthday that day. So I'm
Oh,
waiting to find
no.
out. I'm waiting to find out. I love my dad.
That's okay. Hey.
I can't be like no. But guess what, dude? I got a new green screen. I've been like working to set it up, make sure the lighting is
Dude,
just
I'm excited.
right. Just to kind of get everything going. I've never been a green screen guy before. Normally, I like real backdrops. However, just as life is changing, got to do a little differently. So I'm excited to create something really cool.
I'm excited, dude.
Yeah,
I'm low key actually kind of excited to see it.
it's gonna be fun.
So that'll be good.
Now, before we
hey,
get into listener questions, though, unless you got something else.
Do we?
No, I didn't know if you had anything else you want to talk about. You were starting to change topics.
Yeah, I meant to talk about this at the beginning, but we'll talk about it at the end. Hey, we got some big episodes coming up. Our 50th episode, that's going to be probably a big one. We're probably going to maybe get on a panel of people just to discuss Warcraft, World of Warcraft, not Warcraft, World of Warcraft, and, kind of our thoughts on season 3.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be out in 2 weeks. And then we also have a big episode, our 1-year anniversary of this podcast. That will be our 52nd episode. That'll be coming out towards the end of August. I think we're going to do a one of one podcast video, right? We're gonna do a
you
video
and I are gonna
podcast.
sit down together in front of the cameras, and
yeah, it'll be interesting.
Go for it.
I don't know where I'll look, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it'll be fun. We have a studio that we'll be using, so it'll be pretty cool.
And it might be live. Maybe have we decided on that? Maybe live, maybe not live. I don't think
we haven't decided. We could theoretically do that live though.
We'll figure it out.
If we did that one live, we'd probably open up to everybody, not just Patreon, I think.
Yes, yeah, that would probably be an everyone live. And we do think we might do some giveaways. Look for details in the Discord this week. And if that is not a shout out to jump in the Discord, it should be jump in the Discord, as well as if you want to support us, get on the Patreon. We do bonus content and we do live recordings too. Yep. We're going to do a bonus content right after this. It's going to be a good one, actually. I'm actually really excited to talk about this topic for bonus content.
Absolutely. Yeah, always support us on Patreon. Patreon's a great way to support our content here. Chick and I are just like looking at costs for hosting the podcast, and then when they do some extra stuff. And so Patreon's coming through clutch and be able to up our game on
shout
content.
out to those Patreons.
And do some stuff. So thank you, everybody who supports us on Patreon. Our Patreon supporters have secret access on Discord that will communicate with them sometimes. You get extra content, bonus content on Patreon itself, and often we're kind of moving more and more towards it of recording our podcasts live in Discord, so Patreon listeners can come sit and listen live, ask questions. Today we did not do it, but we originally said we would do it once a month, and now we're doing about 2 to 3 times a month. We're sitting down recording live. So if you ever want to just be able to sit in on a podcast recording and listen in, that's something that we've been doing a lot of lately for our Patreon listeners.
Yes, it is, baby.
And obviously priority on podcast questions as well. If you have questions for the podcast, Patreon supporters get priority. So you can always check out our Patreon, potentially support us. There's a link down in the description. Now, one more thing I want to talk about before we go into our listener questions. A little promo here. I think it'll be a good one, though. I think people will be happy with it.
Ooh.
You may have noticed if you've listened to the past few episodes of the podcast, we have not talked about our guild, Astra, very much, if at all. And we actually really love promoting our guild. We believe that we have one of the best guilds, if not the best guild, in all of World of Warcraft, on Azeroth, on Draenor. It doesn't matter which planet you're on, best guild. However, we kind of stopped promoting the guild, not because we don't want you to join. Everyone's still welcome to join, but because our raid team is very full. Our guild raid team is very, very full, to the point where I think we have like 10 people on the bench, 11 people on the bench, in case we need to fill the roster. We're over 40 people signed up to raid, which is awesome. Maybe Blizzard should bring back 40-man raiding,
dude.
Maybe. But the reason why I bring that up now is, one, I want you to know if you're looking for a guild, a community that's not toxic, that's enjoyable to be in, that's a lot of fun and very supportive to help you get into content that you want to try out, check out our guild. We even do Friday raids with the guild on Friday evenings as like a learner, first time.
Hey, buddy.
Now they don't start until a few weeks into the season, so you have to wait for those. And then we do M+ events and stuff. It's an amazing guild. It's called Astra. You can follow the link in the description below, and that will actually take you to the Warband's Discord. And in there, you can ask about the guilds, and we can answer any questions you have and maybe give you an invite if you want. That's not the guild's Discord. It is our Discord for the podcast. But even still, we can give you information there. The other reason why I bring this up, though, is because we do know that a lot of people listening to the podcast are looking for a raid team, are looking for people to raid with. And while we're not guaranteeing it right now, we are in talks of starting a once-a-week raid team for the Warband podcast. Chicken and I will pop in as we can. Our availability is kind of hit or miss sometimes, but if you are looking for a team to raid with, we are currently looking to build a raid team for Friday nights, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, so EST or EDT, depending on whatever time of the year it is. If you're interested, pop onto our Discord. Let us know that you're interested. We are also currently looking for a raid leader, so we'll be putting out requests on Discord to see if anybody would be interested in doing that. And so if there's enough interest, we would love to help kind of build some momentum for that. But of course, if there's not, there's not. But, I just want to let people know that Astra is always still open for more members to join. And if you're specifically looking for raiding, we're hoping to create another opportunity for people to be doing that. But that's, I think, everything in terms of personal news that we have to get out for the podcast. Why don't we get to our listener questions?
Listener questions. We got 2 of them because we did not ask the Discord this time. And that is our fault, but it's kind of good to catch up on the questions. We've been having a lot of questions past couple podcasts, so
very behind on questions.
It's good to catch up on some old questions. We actually have one old question that we never got to, coming from Canustbust.
Yep, we told him that it would be our first one. I felt so bad because we hadn't gotten to his question, and I think it came across like we hadn't done it because he wasn't a Patreon supporter. That's not the case at all. We literally missed the question because he asked it the day before I got married, and I was very distracted that day. Let me tell you, I got a beautiful wife now, and so I was a little distracted. The day he asked that question.
We're distracted, buddy.
And I
very
missed it.
Distracted.
However,
that's okay.
We're going to get to that question now. Nutsbus says, what is your favorite mount in the game? Talking mythic dungeon mounts, event mounts, PvP mounts, and if you were one of those types, the shop mounts. Mine is Invincible, will forever be my top favorite. Well, let me just say I got Invincible now. I didn't have it when you posted that question. I have it now. I do like Invincible. However, it's not my top mount that I have. I think my top mount might be the same as Chicken, so I'll let Chicken answer the question first.
Oh, man. It definitely is gonna be. Yeah. So if I had to say a top mount, it would probably be between 2, and it's one that I've gotten more recently, and one that I had gotten a little later. And to Swag's point, I know why his is, kind of wrapped around, Well, actually, I let me rephrase that. I got 3. So I'm just going to get into it. The first one is probably definitely my favorite, but I'm going to say these are kind of like a tie. The first one would be the stupid Halandris mount. It's not stupid. It's the greatest mount in the game. It's definitely my favorite, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be Swag's favorite too. Mine's a little different. I think I'm not going to speak for Swag, but okay. I just think it's a cool looking mount. I literally think it's like one of the coolest mounts. It's not really tied to any achievement or anything I did. I really just think it's like one of the dopest looking mounts in the game. Second on that list would probably be Gmod.
What was the first one you named? I think I missed the name of it.
What?
What was the first one you named? I feel like I missed the name.
I just call it the Halandris mount.
Oh, Halandris mount. Yeah, well, that is tied to an achievement.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, like I didn't do it with like any group or anything. Like I just like pugged it randomly.
Okay. Now I get
and happened to like just get into a pug group that actually knew what they were doing.
Now I get your saying. Okay. So that was your number one. Like number 2 is Gmod.
Yeah, number 2 is Gmod probably because I'm really tied to it. I just did like 50 runs with it, and I think it's a really cool mount. And then the last one would be that Depth Strider mount, which was the Hirokin or whatever his name was, the fishy mount from Zerus Mortis that I literally grinded like hours for and finally got it. And that one is just kind of like, that was the mount that I grinded for, and that's why I like it the most. But yeah, it's probably, we changed it into a what's your favorite, and that's like my top 3.
That makes sense. That makes sense. My favorite, again, I've worked hard for Invincible this month, which I'm so excited to have him. However, it feels too new still, right? It feels too new. But again, you said Gmod, but it feels new for me still. I would say, though, if I had to pick one, man, it's the Halandras mount, the Zareth Steed, or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
That is, to your point, it's just a sick-looking mount. It's actually genuinely a really cool mount. Really cool mount. But then also, that was like our current guild, Astra. That was our first raid tier getting AOTC. That was our first raid tier as a guild getting AOTC. And that was a big deal. Like, it was exciting. It was like a lot of community. My life's been shifting a lot lately, spending a lot of time with my wife, spending just, changing priorities. I'm not gaming as much as maybe as I was at that point. At that point, I was gaming a lot, right?
Dude, all the time, bro.
Yeah, dude, that was, oh man, what was that, like 4 years ago now? 3, 4? Something
pretty
like
close
that?
to. Yeah.
Right, years ago.
3, 4. Yeah.
I was spending all my time with the guild, and like, that's going to be a season of my life that I think I'll always cherish those memories. I'll always cherish those memories of like the time that we had together with them. And that mount to me encapsulates a lot of that. I have a lot of that tied into that, of those friendships, the community. Still have most of those friendships to this day. Not all of them. I think some people have left the guild and moved on, but a lot of them are still around, still active, and I cherish it. There's also there's a piece of artwork we had commissioned a while back of the officer team from that point in time. All hanging out in like a tavern in like Goldshire or something. It's really cool. It's a really cool piece of artwork of like our characters all hanging out, and that to me is like in the same lines as that mount, where I'm like, it's just such a good reminder of like a season of life that was one I just cherish. I think that season of life was hard for me. That was a hard season in my life, but that community I really appreciated a lot.
Yeah, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
definitely.
All right, you ready for our next question? It was a little more complicated than the last one. According to a quick Google search, 5 to 7% of players get AOTC, and only around 1% get cutting edge. Far more than 1% of players have the skill needed to complete Mythic Raid, right? But they choose not to. I may be way off, but I think most raid teams get AOTC within the first half of the season, so there's still plenty of time to gear up for Mythic Raiding. So my question is, should the rewards for Mythic Raid be improved? My recommendation would not be more eye level, but ways to persistently brag about your in-season mythic kills. Maybe those are the only people who get to mount the raid boss's heads up on their player house. So like maybe getting that, again, I think it's point being have some sort of trophy that you get to show off in your player housing. What do you think about just in general? Should there be any type of better offerings for people who are game, like to incentivize people to do Mythic?
Maybe, but like, to me, I think the incentives are already there. So, I was thinking about this question just now before we started recording, and this question's kind of a hard question because Bacon Wings, I'm pretty sure you're new to the Discord. Welcome. I think when you talk about, the difficulty of AOTC and the difficulty of mythic raiding, right? You're assuming that a lot of people are definitely more skilled to do AOTC and mythic raid, and I think they are, but I think part of the reason that you don't see it as much and why the numbers are so low isn't necessarily due to the difficulty standpoint that I think you might be trying to reach. I think it's not a difficult as in like an overcoming. It's more of a difficulty in terms of this just takes time, right? And the problem when it comes to that is when you're talking about a 20-man raid group, you got to coordinate 20 people's schedules multiple times a week. And it just doesn't always work out. I mean, that's one of the big reasons why I didn't get AOTC in season 2. I just, my schedule just wasn't working with our guild's raid team, and unfortunately, I just had to, make some sacrifices, and that was one of them. And I think at the end of the day, I think that is the bigger difficulty when it comes to it, because mythic raiding isn't something that you do. Well, it is something. It might be something you do twice a week, but it's also just, hey, you got to gear up to get into mythic raiding. Heroic, you can kind of coast by a little bit. But even heroic, you got to do some kind of alternative gameplay to get gear. But I to be honest, I'm not sure the rewards need to be changed at all. I think it's just kind of the nature of that gameplay. Yeah, I'm sure. Like, I think one thing that, if anything, maybe just adding an AOTC mount every tier. I've always thought that was kind of interesting that they never had that. It's always just season 3.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe adding an AOTC mount, maybe doing a little bit more for cutting edge.
Yeah, the AOTC mount is always an odd thing to me because it's only a season 3 thing. Sorry, I dropped my phone. That. It's only a season 3 thing, but then there's no reason why they couldn't just, I don't know. To me, it's like, why not just offer a mount every season? It can't be that hard to just be like, yeah, here's an AOTC mount.
Yeah, come on, they could have easily just, honestly, they could have easily just made a interesting mount for the special bonus, and then just made the Rick Reverb mount, the AOTC mount, easily. People would have been so excited to get the Rick Reverb mount, 100%.
Yeah. So here's some thoughts. Yeah, here's some thoughts.
Yeah,
unless you're not done. If you're not done, then
no, I'm done. That was kind of my spiel.
Yeah, I mean, my thought ultimately on this whole conversation is the real answer. The real answer is power. It's player power, eye level, whatever you want to call it. That's the answer. That's 100% the answer.
Yeah.
At that difficulty level, you're not enticing players with, you're not enticing them with trinkets. I mean, technically you are, because you want eye level on your trinkets, but you're not enticing them with just collectibles. You're right. You're talking about the players who complained that the final reward on the raid renown track was a mount. Right? They were like, no, dude, we want more raid power. We want more power while we're raiding. We don't want to mount. And so I just don't think that's enticing. And I think the way the game's set up right now, Mythic does feel like a lot of work with very little actual reward, other than you're getting Mythic gear, but then you can also kind of get Mythic gear slowly, just getting in your vault every week. And you just and I'm just gonna trust your Google searches, because I don't feel like fact checking. I have no reason to believe that you're not telling the truth. So if you're wrong and then I'm wrong because you're wrong, who cares? I don't care. This is just a fun conversation. But doing a quick Google search of my own, right? I'm seeing about only 25% of players get 2K rating in M+, which is Keystone Master, and then Keystone Hero, I think, at 2.5K. Only about 20% of players are getting those achievements. And those are easier achievements, in my mind, than OTC, because you're not really you're not committing to a schedule. You're just like, oh, I'm logging in, running some dungeons. That to me makes it an easier achievement to chase after if you want to. And now maybe you prefer how rating is set up. I would say, though, you have to also keep in mind that the most played game mode in WoW, the most played game mode is LFR, right? So rating is loved. Rating is loved, but it does have a fall off. I think ultimately, if players want to do the content, they'll just do the content. And something that shocked me was, I think it was a year ago, we saw an interview with WoW raid developers, and they were talking about how they develop raids. And basically what they said is they start with heroic, and they develop heroic raid, and then they make easier modes and a harder mode. So the idea is they start with heroic, and then they take out some mechanics to make normal, and then make LFR, and then they take heroic and they add mechanics to make mythic. But heroic is what they aim for when they're creating. So 5 to 10 players getting AOTC feels low, but I would gamble the number of players doing heroic raid is much higher than 5 to 7%. Just the ones actually doing the whole thing is probably a little bit lower. That totally makes sense to me. That checks out based upon, even I know our attrition rates for our raid team. I was just talking about how we have 10 people on the bench, but I guarantee if those people sit on the bench in 3 weeks, they'll have a spot. Because that's just how it happens. Everyone wants to get in, they want to see the raid for a few weeks, and then they're done. It's just what works out that way. So I don't know. The numbers seem right to me. And to your question, right? Like, surely more than 1%, far more than 1% players have the skill needed to complete Mythic Raid. I don't think that much more than 1% have the skill needed to complete Mythic Raid. Maybe 5%, maybe 5%, maybe 10% have the skill to do it. But I'd say probably about 5% have the skill to do it. But you remember, most of the complication is just like organizing. And I think that's okay. I think if part of the problem is organizing a team to do it, I don't think the answer then say, okay, well, how do we make it easier to organize a team? I think part of it's like, yeah, that's a challenge, but it's a rewarding challenge. It feels rewarding when you have a team that's like well-oiled and running together, and not just like trying to figure out how to maximize a flex build to do something. So I think the answer, though, is ultimately player power. If they really wanted people in Mythic raiding, it's all a player power question, and they do generally offer pretty good player power in Mythic. And there's nothing, in my mind, there's nothing more enticing to WoW players than player power. There's nothing more enticing to WoW players than player power for that type of content. Now, at lower levels of content, sure, players don't care as much. They want to farm stuff. Totally get it. But for Mythic raiding, it is. And I think on our guild, right? Like, I think about our guild and how, like, we get AOTC. And then, like, I know myself for sure. I'm like, yo, we got AOTC. It's only like week 6 of the expansion. Let's go get the mythic bosses down. Let's kill some mythics. And then like half the raid team is like, nah, we're out. We're done. That's all we wanted. So I get it, right? Like, at the end of the day, you know, what I also don't want to do is I don't want to be going in mythic raiding with a bunch of people who are like miserable mythic raiding because they feel obligated to be there because they have to get something. Whether it's a mount or reward or something. Sense. You know, because again, part of raiding is like hitting your head against the wall a bunch of times until finally you break through, right? Like, you're constantly attempting these bosses, trying to learn the mechanics, trying to navigate. People are going to screw up. People are going to keep screwing up in the same way over and over and over again. It's going to be frustrating. And to have people in the group who don't even want to be there, that's an environment that will make them exceptionally miserable. And you just don't want that. So I think really, if you find a fun, do it. And again, though, we're talking about cutting edge, right? How many people actually attempt mythic raiding? I'd probably say is much higher than 1%. How many get cutting edge?
I agree.
Is lower, or is obviously 1%. But I have no problem saying, hey, actually completing the raid on the hardest possible difficulty is something that like only a 1% of the player base does. That actually feels appropriate. Now, like, I'm really thinking about it when I say it out loud. Completing the raid on the hardest difficulty is something only the top 1% of players are doing. That doesn't
sound terrible, to be honest.
That feels appropriate, especially knowing that there's so many other difficulty levels that you can accomplish the raid on. I think it's fair, and there's no reason that it should be easier than that, right? Like, there's no reason that it should be like more people should be doing it. If you came to me and said, "Yep, 25% of players are completing a cutting edge," I'd be like, "Oh, that feels kind of high. Should we make Mythic harder? Like, does that be more difficult? Should they not nerf it?"
I mean,
there's something fun about being like, oh, there's like really actually genuinely challenging content. Speaking of genuinely challenging content, though, you guys are gonna have to figure out what to do in real life because this is the end of the podcast. So your little escape from reality is over.
Oh my
gosh. Go touch some grass. Unless you're one of our Patreon supporters, in which case Chick and I are about to go record some bonus content over for our Patreon. But for real, everybody who listens, Patreon or not, we're just so thankful that you guys are enjoying this podcast and this content. Don't be afraid to put your questions on the Discord for us to answer live on the podcast. We want to get to those and hear your thoughts on things. Yeah. And then you can go yell at us in Discord why our answers are wrong. Because to be honest, you know, like, we have opinions, and sometimes those opinions aren't the same as everybody else. And you will never offend us. You will never offend us if you tell us you disagree. Nope. It's just, to me, I love talking about this game, whether or not people have the same ideas that I do. But that's it. See you later.
See you.